Four women in Donald Trump's cabinet out in a single calendar year. Pam Bondi, Kristi Noem, Lori Chavez-DeRemer, and as of Friday afternoon, Tulsi Gabbard. The shelf life of a Trump endorsement for a woman is now officially somewhere between cottage cheese and a Vegas marriage. Meanwhile, Pete Hegseth, who allegedly cannot make it through a NATO summit without Bloody Mary IV drip, who signal grouped active strike plans to a magazine reporter on his second day in the building, still has his desk, no word on his makeup studio. Kash Patel, who fired the entire FBI Iran counterintelligence unit while we were starting a war with Iran, still has his desk. Stephen Miller, somehow still alive, allegedly without a measurable heart rate, still has his desk. And Tulsi, she's out. Now, she reportedly resigned, but reports are showing that she was forced to resign. And President Trump announced Tulsi's departure on Truth Social, saying, "Tulsi has done an incredible job, and we will miss her." He'll miss her until it's time to blame all of his failures on her. And within an hour of Tulsi's resignation letter posting, Reuters had two sources on the record saying that the White House forced her to resign effective June 30th. The stated reason was that her husband, Abraham, has a brand new and aggressive bone cancer diagnosis. That's real, and for me, that part is off limits. Cancer is brutal. The man deserves his wife by his side. Nobody's going to touch that. But what I am going to touch on is the rest of the package. Because Donald Trump just let a sitting director of national intelligence use her own family's medical tragedy as the press release cover for the firing that Trump was going to do anyway. That is nothing more than sociopathic public relations. It's a level of cynicism that most people only achieve with the help of a personality disorder and a Fox News primetime contract. And before the right-wing obituaries start landing on the sectors of the internet that'll try to launder Tulsi's record, I want to give you a brief refresher on how Tulsi Gabbard spent her year and a half as Director of National Intelligence. She's a person who showed up in person in a windbreaker with her phone out, hiding behind a van at an FBI raid on the Fulton County, Georgia election office back in January, where federal agents were seizing 700 boxes of 2020 ballots based on ridiculous conspiracy theories. And her role is the Director of National Intelligence. By statute, she has zero authority over domestic law enforcement. But she was there because Donald Trump asked her to be there.
We have evidence of how these electronic voting systems have been vulnerable to hackers for a very long time and vulnerable to exploitation to manipulate the results of the votes being cast, which further drives forward your mandate to bring about paper ballots across the country so that voters can have faith in the integrity of our elections.
She is a person whose office seized voting machines in Puerto Rico to test them for hidden Venezuelan code. Venezuelan code, right. She published intelligence reports accusing the entire Obama administration of manufacturing the Russia investigation, which the Senate Intelligence Committee, by the way, on a bipartisan vote, had already concluded was real. She defended Donald Trump's authority to bomb Iran on the grounds that, quote, the American people elected him to decide what is an imminent threat. It's not how the Constitution works, by the way, but you go off, ma'am. She is the person that Mitt Romney's people privately referred to on background as Mrs. Putin due to her years of taking Russian propaganda talking points and laundering them through American cable news. She met with Bashar al-Assad back in 2017 and called it diplomacy, the way you might call a hostage tape a podcast. Her own deputy, Joe Kent, resigned in protest of the Iran war, and the White House blamed Tulsi for not firing him fast enough. But make no mistake, Tulsi is not a martyr. She is a person who got everything she asked for and got fired anyway. Because in the end, the one true unforgivable sin in this second-term cabinet appears to be, well, three unforgivable sins: having a cabinet badge, a lack of pure loyalty, and being the owner of a uterus at the same time. And the kicker in all of this, Carolyn Levitt, the White House queen of fake news, the official spokesperson of the distraction administration, stood at her podium 6 or so weeks ago and called reports of Tulsi's impending ouster totally fake news. Stephen Chung, the comms director, tweeted that Trump had total confidence in her. And look, I hope that Abraham Williams beats his cancer. I hope Tulsi gets to be at his side. But the lesson of the last 5 months of this cabinet is the lesson that any woman in the MAGA sphere keeps refusing to learn. Trump is going to use you, and then he will deny you. And the second you stop being useful, he will hand the carving knife to Carolyn Leavitt and have her call it fake news as she ushers you out the door. 4 women out. Hegseth, Kash Patel, Stephen Miller, they are all still ordering off the lunch cart in the West Wing. And MAGA continues to implode, one loyalty test at a time. Drop a comment, please, so that the algorithm knows that you want to keep watching stories like this.